first step?
Set one side equal to 0.
Set one side equal to 0, because at the end, when we have to test out whether it works or not, it's the easiest to compare to 0, right? Alright, so we got to knock this 2 over to this side, so it goes away. You can knock the fraction over if you really wanted to, wouldn't matter. So you end up with, I'm going to give myself some space here, x plus 2 over 2x plus 1. I'm going to say plus negative 2, just because that makes me happier. You can put minus 2, doesn't matter. What's this as a fraction? Over 1. And this is, how do I say this symbol correctly?
Greater than or equal to?
You all know Miss Risen's trick? Doesn't it kind of look like an L?
Yeah.
Less than. Does it look like an L? That's the Miss Risen trick. Alright, what do I got to do now? Got to create a common denominator. So what does my denominator need to be? Yeah, it needs to be 2x plus 1. So what do I do? Is that it? Numerator 2. You're multiplying by a smart version of 1, right? Anything divided by itself gives you that 1. You okay there? Yeah. Multiplying the top and the bottom by what you need this denominator to be. Right? This guy already has it. The only thing I multiply it by would be 1, but that's not going to do anything for me. Okay. Whatever pieces it does not have. Alright, so I can now write the whole thing over just one big old 2x plus 1, right? What's my top end up looking like? We can do the work for it. X plus 2. I'm gonna write this part, but yes. Clearly it wanted me to write what you wanted me to write. 2x plus 1. So yeah, we gotta distribute first, yeah? When you distribute this, what are you distributing? Negative 2, not just the 2, right? If you need to like circle it so you see that and you include that negative with it, please do so. So I've got x plus 2 minus 4x, and then what? Minus 2. And then 2x plus 1. Alright, so when I simplify this all down, what am I going to get? Negative 3x so take a second. Is everybody there? Do we know where these things are coming from? We're okay so far? Okay. Because this is an inequality and not an equation, how does my answer end up looking? How do I have to write my answer? Intervals, right? And in this class, whenever we have intervals, what do we do to try to make our lives a little easier? Look at a number line usually, right? Yeah? So how many values am I going to put on my number line? 2. Right? And where are those numbers going to come from? Numerator and denominator. So my numerator, negative 3x, I got to see what values will cause me to get 0. And 2x plus 1, I got to see which values will cause me to get 0. X equals 0, x equals negative 1/2. Beautiful. If you need to work out those problems and actually show those steps, please do so. If you've gotten really comfortable doing them in your head and you're consistently correct about the sign of them, then it's totally fine if you don't have to. Okay? So I have these two values. The other question is it going to be open circles or closed circles? Let's take them one by one. If I put in x for 0, if I put in 0 for x, what do I end up getting here? 0. And 0 divided by anything is 0. Is 0 less than or equal to 0? Yeah, so that works out, right? That's true. Does that make sense? So this value is in my domain. That value works. What would cause this guy to be an open circle? What would cause it to not work? If it was just less than 0. The fact that we have that equal to there, we can fill it in, right? But 0 is not less than 0. That doesn't make any sense, right? All right, and then how about this guy? If you chuck in -1/2, what happens? If I throw -1/2 into here, what's going to happen? But where's the 0 going to end up? Don't do that. If I put a -1/2 in here, what's going to happen right here? It's going to turn into 0, but it's going to be in the denominator, right? Are you allowed to have a 0 in the denominator? That just makes things implode, right? So this is actually what it cannot equal. Does that make sense? Just like every time we've done denominators, right? All of these functions need denominators. These guys have been open circles. What other values do I need to throw in the number line? There, nice. Negative infinity, positive infinity. We okay there? You following with me so far? A little bit? How many intervals do I need to look at? 3. What are they? What kind of brackets?
Soft brackets.
Soft brackets. Neither one of these are included, so you got to break it to them softly, right? Okay. What's my next interval? To 0. What kind of brackets does those get? Da-da, da-da. And then 0 to infinity. What kind of brackets does that get? All right. And what do you need to do? If I want to know if this interval works, if a value inside of this interval works, what do I need to do?
Check it.
Check it. How do I check it?
Put -1 for x.
-1 would totally work. Is -1 inside of this interval? Yeah, right? So I can take -1 and I can throw it into here and see what I get. Does that make sense? What do you want to put in for this guy? -1/2 to 0.
-1/4.
We do -1/4. If you want to change it into decimals and you think of this as -0.5, you put negative. I don't care, right? -1/4 makes sense though. All right, how about down here?
1.
I definitely think 1 would be the easiest one to use. Definitely, definitely. Okay. So we're going to take this beautiful equation. I'm going to try and color code it a little bit for you. And since it's less than or equal to 0, what type of numbers am I hoping to get? We want negative numbers. Yeah, negative numbers are less than 0, right? So as long as I end up with a negative number, it works out. I end up with a positive number, no go. Sound good? Okay. So the top of this guy here, am I going to end up with a positive or a negative number? For the top of that? It's going to be positive, right? Negative times a negative. And then -2 times -1 plus a 1. It will end up being negative. So if I have a positive divided by a negative, you end up with a negative. So is that good, bad, or other? It's good. This is part of our answer. This guy right here, ooh, put it in green. Woo! That is part of your solution. That is part of your final answer. Potentially your only final answer. We don't know. So far so good? Same thing for the next two? Yeah? Alright, I'm going to set them up. Go ahead and try them, see if you get positive or negative. What happens? And you are absolutely allowed calculators for this. So if you really want to check and get the actual value, you're welcome to. Just be really careful with parentheses, which we're going to focus on a lot in class for our word problems today. I don't want parentheses to be something that throws you guys off. So what's happening with this guy? Top of this positive or negative? Definitely going to be positive. Do you know what a quarter of 2 is? Yeah. Like if you have 2 cookies to split amongst 4 people, everybody gets half a cookie, right? Always related to cookies. So if I have negative a half plus 1, am I going to get a positive or negative value? Huh? Yeah, I'm going to go positive value. Positive divided by positive is a positive. So what does that tell me? No go. Not part of our answer. We don't care about that section. Yeah? And then how about this last guy? Negative 3 times 1, positive or negative? Negative. And how about the denominator here? We're dealing with all positive numbers, so it's going to stay positive. Negative divided by a positive is a negative. Yay! 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 No? Okay. There we go. There we go. I got a little yay. I'll take a little bit of a yay. This is your beautiful final answer to that shenaniganry of a problem. Cool. Any other questions looking at this and going through this process? We okay? Kind of alright?
Yeah.
Sort of okay? Groovy, radical, tubular, fantastic, and wonderful?
Rational?
Maybe. Next unit will be radical.